People said 13-year-old Emily Hawthorne, daughter of tech billionaire Richard Hawthorne, was untamable. Expelled from 5 elite academies. Broke a teacher's phone by smashing it against a piano. Screamed at counselors until they quit. But on a rainy October afternoon, something happened inside the Hawthorne mansion that no one could explain. A blind woman, small, quiet, carrying only a white cane and an old violin case, walked into the marble-floored music room where Emily sat waiting to sabotage yet another instructor. Before Emily could speak, the woman lifted her face and said softly, "I can hear your anger, but I also hear fear hiding beneath it." Emily froze. For the first time in years, she didn't know how to fight back. And that was the moment everything began to change. The Hawthorne mansion stood on a hill above San Francisco, a place where silence felt expensive and emotions stayed locked behind glass and stone. Billionaire Richard Hawthorne was brilliant, admired, and constantly overworked. But behind closed doors, he faced a truth money couldn't fix. His daughter Emily was slipping away fast. Richard stood at the window that morning, watching storm clouds thicken over the bay. His assistant had just delivered the news he dreaded. Another instructor had resigned. 6 weeks, 6 walkouts. Emily's behavior wasn't just rebellious. It was a desperate cry from a girl who felt abandoned, misunderstood, and broken after losing her mother 2 years ago. But Richard didn't know how to reach her. That afternoon, with a last ounce of hope, he sat at his desk scrolling through a list of new applicants, people willing to attempt the impossible job of teaching his daughter music. Most were highly trained, classically polished, overly confident professionals. Only one resume stood out for the wrong reasons. Lily Rowan, blind musician. Age 30. No formal teaching credentials. Specializes in emotional interpretation rather than technical training. Richard frowned. A blind woman teaching his troublesome daughter? It sounded absurd. Yet something about her cover letter made him pause. "I do not teach with eyes. I teach with heart. And sometimes that's what a wounded child needs most." He exhaled, exhausted, and whispered, "Let's try something different." He had no idea that choice would alter all their lives. Lily Rowan arrived quietly, almost unnoticed. A gentle woman with soft brown hair tied in a loose braid. She wore a faded denim jacket and held her violin like it was the most precious thing she owned. Her white cane tapped lightly on the marble floor as she followed Richard's voice through the hall. Richard felt strangely nervous. "Thank you for coming, Miss Rowan. I'm not sure what to expect." She smiled in his direction. "You don't have to. Just tell me where your daughter is." He led her to the grand music hall. High ceilings, crystal chandeliers, a polished piano no one touched anymore. Emily sat with her feet kicked up, chewing gum, eyebrows raised in pure defiance. "Great," Emily muttered. "Another babysitter." Lily didn't flinch. She simply set her violin case down and tilted her head, listening. "I hear someone who hates being disappointed," Lily said quietly. "Someone who loved music once, but now it hurts too much." Emily jerked upright. Her eyes widened, defensive walls cracking for a split second. "Excuse me?" Emily snapped. "You don't even know me." "No," Lily said softly. "But I can hear you." Her voice wasn't stern or soft. It was understanding in a way Emily had never experienced. Richard watched, breath held. Emily crossed her arms. "Fine. What do you want me to do? Play something? Break something?" Lily sat at the piano bench and placed her hands gently on the keys. "I want you to tell me the truth." Emily blinked. "About what?" "About why you stopped listening to your own heart." Something shifted in the room. The rain outside quieted. Even Richard felt the weight of those words. Emily swallowed hard, suddenly trapped between anger and grief. "How would you know anything about my heart?" she muttered. Lily lifted her violin, resting it against her shoulder. "Because I lost something too," she said softly. "Not my eyes. Those were the easy part. I lost someone I loved. Music saved me, and I think it wants to save you too." For the first time in months, Emily didn't storm out. She didn't scream. She didn't break anything. She simply stared at this strange, calm woman who seemed to understand pain without needing to see it. Richard watched from the doorway, hope and confusion mixing in his chest. Something about Lily's presence softened the air around them. Emily wasn't cured. Nothing was fixed. But something had cracked open. A beginning. A possibility. And for a father who feared losing his daughter completely, that tiny shift felt like a miracle. Lily returned the next morning, just as the sun pushed pale light through the gray San Francisco fog. Richard met her at the door, his expression a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. "She didn't throw anything after you left," he said quietly. "That's new." Lily smiled. "Children don't act out for no reason. They act out because no one has heard the reason." Richard hesitated. "Can you really help her?" "I don't know yet," Lily admitted gently. "But I can try." Emily, however, had already decided she hated the idea of needing anyone. She sat on the piano bench, tapping a pen against the keys, waiting to prove Lily wasn't as special as her father suddenly believed. "So," Emily said when Lily entered the room, "ready for me to fail again?" Lily set her cane down beside the bench. "I'm not here to watch you fail," she said. "I'm here to find what's hurting." Emily rolled her eyes. "I'm not hurting." "Then why does your voice tremble when you say that?" Emily froze. That trembling, barely there, felt like a betrayal. "Let's start with something simple," Lily said, gently guiding Emily's hands to the piano keys. "Play a single note, any note. Just one. And tell me what emotion it feels like." Emily frowned. "That's stupid." "Maybe," Lily said with a playful shrug. "But humor me." Emily pressed a key, middle C. A clean, soft tone filled the room. "Well," Lily asked, "it sounds normal." "Normal isn't an emotion." Emily sighed. "Fine. I guess it sounds empty." Lily nodded slowly. "That's a beginning." But as Lily reached for the violin, Emily stiffened. "Please don't play," she said suddenly, almost begging without meaning to. "My mom used to play the violin. I don't want to hear it." Lily's hand paused above the instrument. Richard, listening from the hallway, felt his heart crack. Emily never spoke about her mother. Not once. Lily lowered her violin. "Thank you for telling me. We won't play today." Emily blinked, confused. "You're not going to force me?" "Why would I force someone who's already been forced to feel too much?" For a moment, Emily didn't know how to respond. No teacher had ever listened like that. No adult had ever given her control. But just as something soft began forming between them, it shattered. During their third lesson, Lily asked Emily to try a simple melody. Emily pressed the keys, but her fingers trembled. The notes came out broken, uneven, raw. "Stop," Emily snapped, slamming the piano cover shut. "This is pointless. I can't do anything right." Lily stayed calm. "Emily, it's okay to be frustrated. It's part of learning." "Easy for you to say," Emily shot back. "You don't even have to look at what you're doing. You're used to being helpless." The room went horribly still. The moment the words left her mouth, Emily's face collapsed with regret. That wasn't what she meant, not really. But the hurt spilled out faster than she could control. Lily exhaled, slow and steady. "I know that wasn't your heart speaking." Emily's throat tightened. "I didn't mean." "I'm not angry," Lily said gently. "But I won't let you punish me for someone else's absence." Emily swallowed hard. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "You don't understand anything about me." Lily tilted her head as if listening to something deeper than words. "I understand this much. You're scared I'll care about you, because you think everyone who cares eventually leaves." Emily's breath hitched, shaken, exposed. "Lesson's over," she whispered, bolting from the room. Richard found Lily sitting quietly at the piano. "I'm sorry," he said, rubbing his forehead. "She can be explosive." "She's not explosive," Lily corrected softly. "She's grieving." Richard sank into a nearby chair. "I don't know how to help her. I've tried everything. Counselors, tutors, medication, new schools, nothing works." "Because she doesn't need someone perfect," Lily said. "She needs someone patient." Richard looked at her, this calm, blind musician who treated his daughter like a human being instead of a problem. "How do you do it?" he asked quietly. "How do you stay so composed?" Lily smiled faintly. "When you live in the dark, you learn to listen to light." Her words hit him harder than he expected. But while Lily tried to reach Emily, Emily was spiraling. She locked herself in her room, blasting music loud enough to shake the walls. Not angry music, sad music, the kind that sounded like breaking hearts. In the hallway, Richard stood listening, feeling like a father staring through glass at a child he couldn't touch. He whispered to himself, "Please let this woman be the one who reaches her." Inside the room, Emily sat on the floor hugging her knees, whispering a truth she never dared tell anyone. "I don't hate you, Mom. I hate that you left. And I hate that Dad pretends he's okay when he's not." Her voice cracked. She pressed her hands over her ears, trying to block out the world. But a soft knock came at the door. Lily's voice, gentle as falling rain. "Emily, I'm not here to replace your mother. I'm here so you don't have to drown alone." Emily didn't open the door. She didn't answer. But for the first time she listened. The next morning dawned cold and pale, a thin winter sun barely touching the edge of the Hawthorne mansion. Inside, the halls felt unusually quiet, as if even the house sensed the fragile ground Emily and Lily now stood on. Lily arrived with her violin strapped across her back and a warmth in her voice that didn't match the icy wind outside. Richard greeted her with a nervous smile. "She didn't eat dinner last night," he whispered. "Barely touched breakfast." Lily nodded. "She's not avoiding food. She's avoiding feeling." And with that, she tapped her cane down the hallway toward Emily's room. Emily sat on her windowsill, knees pulled tight to her chest, staring out at nothing, just the familiar ache of a girl who felt too much and trusted too little. When Lily knocked gently, Emily's voice was hoarse. "I don't want another lesson." "That's all right," Lily replied calmly. "I'm not here for a lesson." Emily wiped her face quickly, knowing Lily couldn't see her tears but still embarrassed by them. Lily stepped inside, found the edge of the desk with her cane, and sat down. "Emily, I'm sorry if I pushed too fast yesterday." Emily swallowed. "No, it's my fault. I said something horrible." "You said something scared," Lily corrected. "And scared things lash out." Emily sighed. "You make everything sound like poetry." "Only because pain deserves softer language," Lily said. The room fell into a fragile silence, the kind where truth hovered close but fear held it back. Then Emily spoke quietly. "You said you lost someone. Who was it?" Lily's breath caught, but her voice remained steady. "My sister. She died when we were teenagers." Emily's eyes softened. "I didn't know." "You weren't supposed to," Lily whispered. "But the day I lost her, my world went dark. A few months later, my vision followed." Emily stared. "You mean you weren't born blind?" "No," Lily said softly. "My blindness didn't take my music, but grief almost did." Something inside Emily unlocked, like a door she'd been barricading for years. She slipped down from the windowsill and sat beside Lily, legs crossed on the floor. "When my mom died, music started hurting me too." Lily turned her face toward her, listening with her whole body. "What part of it hurts?" Emily hesitated. "The quiet between the notes. It reminds me of all the moments she's not here." Lily's voice broke just a little. "Emily, that's exactly what I went through." And for the first time, Emily felt something she thought she'd lost forever. A connection. A mirror. A way out. But just when the softness settled, Richard accidentally shattered it. He opened the door without knocking, panic in his voice. "Emily, your school just called. They want to discuss your suspension." "Dad." Emily snapped, standing up, cheeks flushed. "You can't just barge in." Richard looked between the two of them, Lily calm, Emily flushed, the air thick with vulnerability he didn't understand. He misread it completely. "I'm sorry," he murmured stiffly. "I didn't mean to interrupt whatever conversation this is." Emily clenched her fists. "It wasn't whatever." "Emily." "Stop," she cried, voice cracking. "You never listen." And then she ran, past him, down the stairs, out the back lawn into the cold wind. Richard turned to Lily, guilt twisting his expression. "I didn't realize." "She was opening up," Lily said softly, gathering her cane. "She was finally trusting someone." Richard's shoulders fell. "What do I do?" Lily paused. "You tell her the truth." "About what?" "About the secret you've been hiding," she said quietly. Richard froze. His throat tightened. His eyes dropped. "What secret?" he whispered. "The one she heard in your voice the moment her mother died," Lily said gently. "The one you've been drowning in ever since." Richard's chest tightened, because he knew exactly what she meant. Emily ran until her lungs burned, finally stopping beside the old greenhouse at the edge of the estate. Dead vines curled around the glass walls like brittle fingers. She hugged herself against the wind. Footsteps approached, soft, steady, familiar. "Lily." "I followed the sound of your breathing," she said gently. "You breathe differently when you're hurting." Emily didn't turn. "You shouldn't have to deal with us." "Deal with you?" Lily repeated. "Emily, I care about you." "That's different." Emily's voice faltered. "My dad doesn't." "Not really." "That's not true," Lily said firmly. Emily shook her head. "He's never here. And when he is, he just looks guilty." She swallowed hard. "Like he blames himself for Mom's death." Lily stepped closer. "And what if I told you he does?" Emily's breath caught. Lily continued, voice barely above a whisper. "Your father thinks he caused the accident. That it should have been him in the car. Not your mother." Emily turned sharply. "What?" "No, he told me it was a storm. He told me. He told you what he thought you could survive," Lily said softly. But the truth is, your mother was driving to meet him that night. He'd asked her to come earlier than planned. He's never forgiven himself. The world tilted beneath Emily. She wrapped her arms around herself, shaking. Why would he hide that from me? Because he thought you already lost one parent. He couldn't risk you losing him too. Tears spilled down Emily's cheeks, warm against the cold wind. And for the first time, she understood her father's distance. Not rejection. Not indifference. Guilt. Bone-deep guilt. Lily knelt beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Emily, grief doesn't make people bad. It makes them afraid. Your father didn't walk away from you. He got lost. Emily sobbed into her hands. And me? What about me? You didn't get lost, Lily whispered. You got buried. And now we dig you out. Emily collapsed into Lily's arms, crying harder than she had in years. But Lily held her steady, the same way someone had once held her when she lost her sister. Two broken hearts, learning to breathe again. Two wounded souls, finding pieces of healing in each other. And in that moment, under the cold gray sky, everything changed. Emily wasn't angry anymore. She was finally ready to heal. But healing never comes without one more storm. And that storm was about to hit. The storm rolled in by late afternoon, gray clouds swallowing the sky until the mansion seemed small against the churning wind. Inside, tension simmered like thunder waiting to strike. Richard paced the living room, hands shaking. He had no idea where Emily had run, and every minute tightened the panic in his chest. When the door finally opened, he rushed forward, only to stop when he saw Lily guiding Emily gently inside. Emily's clothes were damp, her cheeks streaked with dried tears. But there was something new in her expression, exhaustion, clarity, and the weight of a truth she never expected to carry. Richard stepped toward her cautiously. Emily, are you okay? She didn't look at him. She just walked past, her silence cutting deeper than any anger ever had. Lily tilted her head toward Richard. She knows, Richard. Richard froze. Knows what? The truth you've been hiding, Lily said softly. The accident. Your guilt. Richard's breath collapsed. Oh God! He found Emily in the music room, sitting at the piano bench with her knees pulled to her chest. The very place where she once refused to feel anything, now held a girl overflowing with too many feelings she didn't know how to carry. Richard stepped in slowly. Emily, he whispered. I never wanted you to find out that way. Emily didn't move. Her voice was small, trembling. Why did you lie to me? Because I didn't want you to hate me, he said, voice cracking. I already hated myself enough. Emily's shoulders shook. You didn't trust me with the truth. No, I didn't trust myself to tell it. He sank to his knees beside the bench, tears rising for the first time in years. Your mother was driving to meet me. I asked her to come early because I had a meeting and I wanted to see her before it. If I hadn't rushed her, if I hadn't insisted. His voice broke. I killed the woman I loved. Emily's breath hitched, pain rippling through her. But for the first time, she heard her father's grief, not his distance. His fear, not his coldness. His heartbreak, not his failure. Richard wiped his face with unsteady hands. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to carry that burden. You were already losing so much. Emily finally looked at him, her voice cracking open. I wasn't scared of the truth, Dad. I was scared of losing you too. The words hung in the air like a fragile miracle. Richard reached for her hand slowly, giving her time to reject him. She didn't. Their fingers intertwined, shaky, hesitant, human. Lily, standing quietly in the doorway, felt tears slip down her face. She sensed the shift, the broken pieces rearranging into something new. Richard glanced at her. How did you know? How did you pull this out of her? Lily smiled softly. Pain speaks. Most people just don't know how to listen. Emily wiped her face with her sleeve and whispered. You were right, Lily. I push people away because I'm scared they'll leave. And now? Lily asked gently. Emily looked at her father again, truly looked, and let out a trembling breath. Now I'm tired of being scared. Just when it seemed the moment couldn't get more raw, more open. Emily suddenly leaned forward and wrapped her arms around her father's shoulders. It wasn't the explosive hug of a child who forgives instantly. It was the slow, trembling embrace of a girl who needed her father more than she ever dared say. Richard held her, sobbing quietly into her hair. I'm so sorry I failed you, he whispered. I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I thought I was protecting you. I didn't realize I was burying you. Emily cried into his chest. I needed you, Dad. Not a perfect version of you. Just you. He tightened his hold, his voice breaking open. I'm here now. I promise you, I'm really here. Lily stepped back, giving them space. She felt something warm spread through her heart, relief, gratitude, hope. This was what she had been fighting for. But as she stepped into the hallway, her cane tapping lightly, her foot caught on the edge of a rug. She stumbled, catching herself on the wall. Richard and Emily immediately turned. "Lily? Are you okay?" Emily asked. Lily nodded, but her voice shook. "I'm fine. Just lost my balance." Richard frowned. "You seem exhausted." Lily forced a smile. Helping people heal can be draining. But the truth, hidden deep inside her trembling hands, was far heavier. She was not just tired. She was sick. Very sick. And she had been hiding it. As she steadied herself, Emily watched her with new eyes. Eyes that finally recognized concern, fear, and something else. Lily wasn't just their healer. She was hurting too. The foreshadowing lingered like a shadow in the hallway. Emily whispered to her father, "Dad, something's wrong with her." Richard's jaw tightened. "I know." But none of them realized how serious it truly was. Not yet. For now, all they felt was the fragile miracle of a family finding each other again. And the quiet fear that the woman who brought them back together was fading. The next morning arrived quietly, the kind of morning that felt touched by yesterday's tears yet softened by new hope. Richard made breakfast himself, burnt eggs, over-buttered toast, and the worst coffee in California. Emily laughed at him for it, really laughed, for the first time in years. But their joy was cut short when Lily didn't show up for her lesson. She was never late. Not once. Emily glanced at the clock, worry creeping in. "Dad, can we go check on her?" Richard nodded. Something in his gut told him this wasn't simple lateness. They found her in her small apartment, pale, trembling, sitting on the floor with her back against the piano. Her violin lay beside her, its case half open like she'd tried to practice but couldn't. "Lily!" Emily rushed toward her. "Why didn't you call us?" Lily attempted a smile. "I didn't want to worry you." Her voice was thin, breathy. Richard knelt beside her, concern sharp in his eyes. "Lily, what's happening? You've been hiding something." Lily exhaled shakily. "I wasn't planning to tell anyone. Not yet. But my body has been failing me for months." Her fingers twitched as she clasped them together. "I have a degenerative nerve condition. It's getting worse." Emily froze, her heart dropping like a stone. "But you're so strong, you help us, you." "I help because I know what breaking feels like," Lily whispered. "And sometimes the only way to survive your own pain is to heal someone else's." Her chest rose and fell in fragile breaths. Her strength, the one that held Emily together, was fading. Richard's voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I could have. You've carried enough," she said gently. "Both of you." But Emily shook her head fiercely. "No, not anymore. You're part of us now. You don't get to disappear." Lily's eyes softened, full of love she rarely let herself express. "Emily, you don't owe me anything." Emily grabbed her hand. "But I want to. Because you saved us. Now let us save you." Richard helped Lily to her feet. "We're taking you to the hospital," he said firmly. "I'll be okay," Lily tried to whisper. "You're family," Richard said. "And family takes care of each other." Emily nodded beside him, tears gathering. "You healed the part of me I thought was gone forever. Please let us be there for you now." Lily didn't argue again. Her strength finally surrendered to their love. At the hospital, the truth became clearer. The doctors explained her condition gently. It wouldn't kill her, but it would slowly weaken her muscles, especially in her hands. Her music, the one thing she had left after her sister died, would gradually become harder to play. When Lily heard those words, her face didn't crumble, but her fingers trembled in a way that nearly broke Emily's heart. Emily sat beside her on the hospital bed and whispered, "Then we'll play for you. Every day. Until your hands can't. And even then, I'll make sure your music never dies." Lily's breath shook. "Emily." "I mean it," Emily said, taking her hand. "You gave me back my voice. Let me lend you mine." Richard stood at the foot of the bed, eyes full of gratitude. "You changed my daughter's life," he said softly. "You changed mine too. Let us walk this path with you." For the first time since losing her sister, Lily let someone hold her pain with her. Months passed, and something beautiful happened. Lily didn't move back to her old apartment. Richard insisted she stay at the mansion where she had support, warmth, and family. Emily became her hands when hers grew tired. They played piano together, Emily pressing the keys, Lily guiding the rhythm. Some evenings, Richard sat in the doorway listening, tears in his eyes as music filled a home that had once held nothing but silence. Lily grew weaker slowly, but she never stopped smiling. Not when Emily made her tea. Not when Richard brought her sheet music he found at thrift shops. Not when Emily surprised her with a room decorated in soft lights and musical notes. One night, as Emily played the first melody Lily ever taught her, Lily closed her eyes and whispered, "You didn't just learn music. You learned how to live again." Emily's voice broke. "You taught me. And you healed me," Lily breathed. On a warm spring afternoon, they held a small gathering in the backyard, just the three of them. Lily sat in the center, violin tucked gently under her chin. Richard sat behind her, steadying her shoulder. Emily stood beside her, hands on the piano keys. Lily raised her bow with trembling fingers. Emily whispered, "I'm right here." And together, one guiding, one supporting, one playing, they created the most beautiful, imperfect, soul-stirring melody any of them had ever heard. Not flawless, not effortless, but full of love, full of healing, full of second chances. When the final note faded, Lily leaned her head against Emily's shoulder and whispered, "I didn't save you. We saved each other." Emily pressed her cheek against Lily's hair. "Yeah, we did." Richard looked at the two of them, his broken daughter and the blind musician who rebuilt their lives, and whispered into the soft spring air, "Thank you for bringing our family back. Sometimes the people we're meant to save are the ones who save us in return." Healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about learning to let others hold the pieces with us. And love, in its gentlest form, is the music that keeps us alive.